Welcome, everyone. This is Our Travel Experiences. I'm your host, Kyle Rasmussen, and today I have with me Rachel. Rachel, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad you're here. I appreciate you taking time to do this. I'm really excited to talk about some of your travel experiences. You have, I feel, some unique experiences of traveling in a van with a whole family. So I'm really interested to hear more about your story and how you made this happen.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited that it's definitely not something we thought was going to be possible as a family, but we've been really happy to see it all kind of come together.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, how did this whole traveling in a van with your kids start?
So it's always been a dream of ours, especially my husband, and he would search vans constantly and be showing me vans nightly. And um, like most people, when they see us, my first thought was like, that's never going to work with all of our kids,
Yeah,
especially if they'd ever show me a van that didn't have a bench seat already in it. I just would dismiss it right away, saying that that doesn't work for us. But we love to talk about it and talk about it as if it was something that we would do someday, and it was this pipe dream of ours. And um, then at the time I was pregnant with our third child, so three of four. And due to some medical issues that I have, uh, it caused problems for her. And when I was trying to give birth to her, her heart stopped, and it
oh,
was
wow.
yeah, it was a scary situation that resulted in an emergency C-section that didn't go great for either of us. And there was um, a point in uh, during it that my husband thought he was losing both of us, and
Wow.
it it just kind of um, made us think about life and kind of refocus our priorities. And
Hmm.
um, when we both made it through safely, um, we kind of took that to heart, as that we only have this short time with these kiddos when they're little, and we wanted to make the most of it. And it was right after that that we really buckled down and got to looking, and bought our van shortly after that. So
Yeah, wow. That's a crazy story. Um, I always find it interesting how those types of near death experiences really changes your perspective on life.
it's so
Um,
true. It really makes you kind of think about what's the most important thing, and if this were to
mhm.
all go away today, what do we have left? And for us, it was just the memories and the time spent with our kids. So
Yeah, definitely. So after that, you guys started working on making this dream a reality. How did that all kind of come to fruition?
so we actually found our van in a kind of a unique place. We found it on Facebook Marketplace. um,
Oh, wow.
I know, right? And it wasn't outfitted completely to accommodate a family, but it did have a bench seat, and so we felt like we could make it work. And so we got it, and then we had to change things like put in the double queen bunks that we have in the back of our van, to accommodate more people. And we're very short people, and so we can all sleep sideways in the van. And so a
Wow.
queen, two queen beds are actually quite roomy for us.
I guess that's an advantage there.
Right? I had someone reach out to me the other day and said, we're 6'5". I was like, I don't know how to help you. We live in a different world. Um, but uh, so we added the bed. We added so while our bench is factory, we did add a two-seater bench up front in our van, or had it added. We didn't install the seats
Hmm.
to accommodate a sixth seat for when I had my fourth little one. And those are the major changes that we made to accommodate um, having so many people in the van.
Hmm. Yeah, it looked when I was looking at it online, it looks like that bench seat also moves against the wall so you can get it out of the way.
Yes, that is like my favorite part of our van. So the cabinets in the van are built so they fit the exact length that the bench is sideways. So when we get to camp, we pop the bench out and turn it sideways in the van, and it fits snugly in there so it doesn't move around. And then it becomes our couch, and it's where we, sit and do crafts with the kids or um, have dinner or whatever. So it allows us to open the space and kind of use it how I guess a typical van couple would do in having
Mhm.
eating area and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like that's so creative. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh wow, that's such a smart idea."
It's been a game changer for us.
Yeah,
Everything has to have at least two purposes in the van to make it work, I feel like.
there you go. So how much work did it take to actually get the van to where you guys could actually go travel and camp in it?
So I will say our van is very simple. I feel like a lot of people are able to deck their vans out to the nines, and which are beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
I look at those white cabinets and see all my children coming in from a dirty hike and see how nice that would be for us. But
Yeah.
no, we don't have, we don't have a shower. We have a little cassette toilet because that's a lot of people to try to get through the night without a toilet. But we don't have a lot of the, I guess, the fancier amenities. So getting us, I guess, roadworthy for us was pretty darn simple. Because we just
Mhm.
wanted the basics of sleeping and eating and driving. And um, so I would say the bed installation took a day and a half, and we were pretty much good to go.
Oh wow. So was it like a couple weeks or a couple months that it was all ready to go once you started working on it?
Oh, a couple weeks. Because,
Wow.
like I said, um, sorry, I probably left that out. When we found it, uh, it it had the bench seat, but it also had it had a single bed in the back, and so it was converted in those ways. And we just had to add to it to add space for a family. And
Hmm.
so it wasn't. We didn't need to do it from bare bones.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice. Yeah, I've seen a lot of times, some people will just totally gut a van and then it takes, almost a whole year to have it ready to go.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We luckily did not have to gut it because I think we would still be working on it
Yeah.
years later.
Yeah, I'm sure with kids and all the other stuff you got going on, I'm sure there's probably not a lot of time for that.
No, no. There's always, a to-do list in my mind of things that would be nice to add to the van. But at
Hmm.
this point, it's like, if it gets us out to the location and gets us having fun, that's all uh, we're really asking of the van. So,
Hmm. Yeah, that's the important part. So how often are you guys traveling in the van?
oh man, as much as we can. We
Mhm.
sat down and we're going over our schedule and realized that we're somewhere new every week of June. And, it kind of makes us sit back and think, when are we going to come visit home for a bit? But uh, summertime, especially, just because we live in a place where there's winter, and um, so we travel down south a lot in the winter, but
Mhm.
there's not a lot of um, northern options in the winter um, that aren't freezing and covered in snow. So, um, but in the summer, we're gone about the whole time. We'll take a short hiatus from traveling in the van to go to Hawaii, but that,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So,
Which I'm sure is a whole other experience with 4 kids.
yes. Here's to hoping we survive a plane ride.
Yeah. So how long has it been since you actually started traveling in the van with the family?
So we got our van shortly before the world shut down in 2020, which I feel was good timing because then
Yeah.
it wasn't like the popular thing to do yet. And so
Mhm.
our van didn't cost us our firstborn like it seems to
Yeah.
cost people at this point. Um, we look at vans now and it's crazy how expensive they are. And so
Yeah.
getting ours before quarantine and stuff, one allowed us to travel like, you know, when everybody got sent home is when we found the most freedom because my
Hmm.
my husband was working, you know, the typical 9 to 5. We were all doing the in-person school, and it was like everything shut down, and we suddenly had this freedom and were able to travel through all of that. So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how that kind of changed things too.
yeah, I know it was a terribly sad time for many, but within our family, it was a really good uh, opportunity for us to spend more time together. So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Like from my perspective, I mean, I don't have kids or anything right now, but like just seeing that, okay, the way things have always been done doesn't necessarily mean I have to keep doing it that way. It showed me that there's a lot of opportunities out there if you choose to see them.
yeah,
Uh, so it's definitely changed my perspective the last couple of years, and it kind of led me to this point where I'm now doing this podcast.
I love it, and I hope that that's what you know people as a whole are understanding that we don't have to fit into this box that we've always felt like we have to. That more jobs can be done remotely and independently, and
Hmm.
I feel like when people have the freedom to move and explore as well as do jobs that they work harder and do better, and it's beneficial for everyone. So
Yeah, yeah,
I hope
definitely.
that's kind of how the world is trending, is to go that
Yeah,
way.
I do too. Yeah, what has it been like? I mean, you've gained a pretty big following on Instagram. What has that been like as you've continued your travels?
Ooh, that's a mixed bag. I There are parts that I have absolutely loved. Building a community of like-minded people, of families that also love to adventure has been so amazing. And these people that I've gotten to meet, both through Instagram, but then also get to meet them in person, has been an amazing experience. And people are truly so good. Um, a lot of people followed us from, when uh, when I gave birth to Remy, the one that was such a disaster, and and then they really rallied around us when we kind of went against medical advice and had a fourth baby. And so he was high risk through the whole thing, and people were loving and supportive. And he got little um, gifts from people when he was born, and even we all got COVID when he was like 3 weeks old, and
Oh no.
I know, right? And people that I have never met had meals sent to us. Like it was just
Wow.
incredible to see. Yeah, it just people could be so amazing. Um, and then on that same token, a lot of people see 6 people in a van and don't really care to know a lot more beyond that. And we've gotten definitely some of the more nasty things I've heard in my life come at us.
Oh wow.
Everything from it being child abuse or neglectful, or that we're pushing our dreams on our kids, um, to even my husband and I are uh, an interracial couple, and that seems to get some people fired up um, with our
Wow.
little biracial children. So it's it's been a wonderful thing to grow a community, but you definitely put yourself out there to kind of hear everybody's opinions on your parenting and your life.
Hmm.
but you
Yeah.
got to take that with, knowing that you're putting yourself out there, and that kind of comes with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you really summed up the good and the bad of social media right there. There you can see a lot of good and have access to a lot of people around the world in a great community, and you can also be in the spotlight for people to take out some of their frustrations or their anger on you as well.
Yeah, you definitely get everything, but but
Yeah.
like you
Well,
said, that is the internet. We all get to speak our minds, I guess.
yeah. um but I mean, it seems like as a family you guys are having a ton of fun exploring all these amazing places, and it's helped me looking through your Instagram, seeing some of these places that I never even would have heard of if it wasn't for you.
Oh, thank you. I hope that we're, showing places and inspiring families. And Kyle, you are right. It has been just the time of our lives. We have so much fun. Um, our kids, Mike and I like to say, are truly our best friends. They're funny, witty little people to be around. And uh, traveling like this has given us so much time to be together 24/7,
Hmm.
as well as, just bring the world to them. Like it was kind of our way of giving them the world and having nature right at our doorstep. I don't know if you've seen uh, one of the picture we have, but one day we were camping up in the mountains, and this was before we got our cassette toilet, and this was kind of a turning point for us on that too. But we woke up, it was early in the morning, and we popped the doors open so that we can get all the kids out to use the bathroom, and there were two massive bull moose chilling right outside our van.
Oh,
We backed all the children back up and get back in, and I they didn't leave, so we were in a way stuck on the bed of our van with the doors open, just watching these guys for like 2 hours, and
wow.
it was an incredible experience just to see these massive, beautiful creatures. But also did prompt us to get a toilet in the van because
Yeah. Wow, that's an amazing experience. I mean, that's not something a lot of people get to say that they've seen.
right. And I hope it's something my kids remember forever because it was a pretty neat time.
Hmm. How old are your kids?
My oldest just turned 8, and then 6, 3, and Enzo just turned 7 months this week.
Okay, wow. So are the older ones, able to kind of share their thoughts on the trips, and I guess how are you seeing it through their eyes right now?
Yeah. Oh, I love seeing things through their eyes and seeing that they recognize, the beauty of places and when we're in a neat place. I was a little worried at first that they would be like, we have no toys and we have no things. Um, and to see them, they started making stick dolls and drawing faces on the sticks that they found. And I mean, they adapted quickly and love it. We do check in with them, especially when we're gone for uh, longer periods, and always give them the option like, "Are you doing okay? Is it time to head home?" And they have never once chose to leave the van. They just say how much they love it, and um, they get.
Yeah.
My 3-year-old, it was at one point someone asked her like, "Oh, where do you live?" And she's like, "In the mountains." I'm like, "Yeah, sounds about right."
That's funny.
And that's when that was a happy time for me to see that she recognizes that home is where we all are together at any point. So
Hmm.
but yeah, the older ones can definitely voice it more, their enjoyment, and they have little travel journals that they draw pictures of the places that we go. And
Oh, that's cool.
so yeah, it's been really neat to let them see the world in a little bit different way. or at least our little corner of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds amazing. I know, thinking back to my childhood, anytime that I traveled with my family, we traveled a lot for sports when I was a kid, and we would drive to different parts of the country and be up in the mountains and that sort of thing. And honestly, those were my favorite memories as a kid. Just all of us being together, exploring this new place for us. So that's really cool to see that your kids are seeing that as well.
Yeah, I love to hear that, and I love, yeah, when adults can say that. Looking back, this was my favorite, because I sure hope that's what they say when people are talking to them, 10 years from now, that
Mm-hmm.
they loved all the adventures.
Yeah,
Because I'm the same with you. I grew up traveling with sports, and our kids don't do any of that at this time. Maybe our life will change, but so it's been fun to have a different method of traveling for us.
yeah, and I'm sure they'll see the world in such a different light compared to people who never have gotten to have those sorts of experiences. I know it helped me really kind of see the world differently, and I feel like it made me a better person to have all those experiences as a kid. Wish I would have had more.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I can already, I see it benefit them in getting to meet new people wherever we go, and things like that, as well as, seeing people that look like them. I have one little girl that lights up when she sees other people of color, and it's because her mom's so white, I think. But she gets really excited to see those things. And in the midst of one of our uh, times of people voicing their opinion on the internet, someone said, "Why don't you make your account private and shield your kids from getting those kind of comments?" And I thought about that for a minute, and I thought, well, that's because that's the exact opposite of what I want for my children. I don't want my children to think that they have to hide or become smaller because of someone else's opinion. That they need
Yeah.
to know that they do belong anywhere and everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's what traveling with them, I think, does for me. Is I want to show them, especially having three girls, that they can be outdoorsy and strong and
Mm-hmm.
capable and all those things that maybe sometimes those comments allude to them not being.
Yeah. No, I love that you think that way. It's just sad that some people, choose to voice their negative opinions out there. But so I'm curious, what does a typical trip look like for you guys?
So we,
Like a typical one.
yes, oh man, hiking is definitely like our activity of choice, and so we will plan our trips around like a select few hikes that we're wanting to do in an area. And right now, with the really tiny ones, we still have like nap times and things that affect our schedule a lot. And so for us, I mean, days look pretty routine in that we like get up and have breakfast, that we head out on a hopefully the biggest hike of the day we do in the morning, so that the baby will sleep while we hike, and then we get back and the toddler will sleep, and we'll all kind of hang out and chill. And then when they're up, we try to fit another one in, and that can seem pretty monotonous, I think. But for us, like, that is our favorite way to explore, and especially our afternoon hikes, we are trying to fit, encourage learning and stuff with the kids. So those are more full of catching bugs and using our identifier app to figure out what we found, and is just letting them explore. And I feel like the dirtier they come into the van at night, the better we've done.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that. Are you typically going for like a weekend trip, or do you take a week off from work, or how does that work?
If our girls do, I have one daughter that loves theater, and so there's times that we're bound to home when she's rehearsing and stuff, and um, then it'll be weekends. But our kids are so little that we're not really extremely concerned with missing a lot of school yet. I'm
Mhm.
sure as they get older, um, that will be more of a thing. But right now, they love learning and they stay on top of things, and so um, taking off a week here and there, we don't mind doing that. It's not, we're not concerned with school yet. So we do
Yeah,
weekends. I mean, I would say every weekend we're gone, but then, yeah, we uh, try to fit a week in each month to just be exploring as well.
yeah, that's cool. I like that. Um, what have been some of the most memorable moments that you've had while traveling?
Definitely the moose was was one,
The pet.
and then we've done everything from very well established campgrounds that have playgrounds for the kids to um, boondocking in remote places. And I think just waking up to new places is one of the most exciting parts for us. And seeing the kids see a new place is always fun for me. And this is so simple. It's not even a big moment, but we bought a swing that we anchor into the top of our van, and putting Lorenzo in the swing for the first time and having him giggle. And we were out in the middle of nowhere, just by a big ravine in southern Utah. Like, that was a favorite moment for me, just having his happiness, and there wasn't another person within miles of us was
Hmm.
a favorite of mine for sure. Um, and then the wildlife, from the moose to we've had plenty of deer in camp to bison. Um, those have all been really neat experiences. We haven't had a bear yet, and I feel okay about that.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Yeah. I'm not
Um,
too eager on that one.
yeah. No, actually, with the swing, that's actually how I originally found you. I saw that video pop up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that that's so cool!" Just
Really?
this little kid swinging out, next to this ravine, which it looked like a beautiful area, and it looked like you guys were all just having a good time, and I was like, "Wow, that's someone that I want to, talk to."
Oh, that makes me so happy that that's how you found it. Because yeah, that was honestly just one of the happiest days. He was so happy. He had never been in a swing. It was pretty great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, So I'm sure, traveling with six people in the van has some challenges, which you mentioned the toilet already. That sounds like one of the challenges. What are some other challenges that you guys face while traveling?
Oh man, we've had one of our daughters. It's actually why we're home now. Get sick on the road, and
Mhm.
as you can see, it's apparently just going through everyone. And we don't have like a walk back to access the back of the van anymore since we added a third seat up front. So I was like hopping over the seat every few minutes to help her, and that was um, vans definitely, I feel like, are not ideal to have sicknesses when you don't
Yeah,
have proper plumbing and things like that. Um, so that has been a challenge for us. And then, I feel like typical parenting challenges are present. They're still little kids. They still have moments that emotions are high or they're overly tired, and um, that can be a lot when it's a small space.
yeah.
big emotions in a small space can be a challenge, which is why we try to get them outside a lot, but that's not always an option. And so, figuring out how to let kids have wind down time and try to get them some alone time while being all very much together.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of used that top bunk as a place that they can escape if they just need a minute to be by themselves. So, and then, road trips present the challenge in that kids don't want to sit still, and that when we're going long distances, that can be, I feel like when it was just Mike and I, 14-hour drive is no big deal. We can hit that in a day. And, a 14-hour drive now takes multiple stops, and you got to stop at the playground and run around for a couple hours. So what we could do in a day takes us 2 to 3 now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the longest you've traveled with all the kids?
As a rule, we actually won't go further than 6 hours in a day. We just, we've done trips that are upwards of 30, but not then. Mm-hmm. We just know that they take a long time because we're not gonna make them be in the car for more than half the day, and so we're slow travel partners. We're not. If anyone were to ever caravan with us, we go for a couple hours and then stop. And so, our rule of thumb is 6 in a day, and then you call it and reevaluate. So,
yeah, I feel like that's a smart idea, especially with young kids around. I know I wouldn't have liked sitting around, all day in a car or a van as a kid.
Yeah, and there's only so much you can do. We have all the tricks and up our sleeve from audiobooks and even screen time to magnet books and blocks and coloring papers. But at the end of the day, they're little kids with active bodies, and we got to just stop and play. So.
Yeah, definitely. Where would you say has been your favorite place that you've gone with the family?
Ooh. So, actually, where that swing video is down in, it's near Bullfrog. It's clear down by, it's Lake Powell, but it's like one of the finger streams that have dried up. So the ravine used to be Lake Powell, but it isn't anymore. And so, because of that, it's like a town that used to be a hub with water access and was popular, but now it's all dried up and there's nothing there. I think that's what makes that my favorite, is because we're so far from anything else. I really like going down there. And then I'm from Idaho originally, so I always love when we go up into the Grand Teton area and explore up there, because then I feel like I'm going home.
Yeah. Idaho has so many beautiful places in it.
It really does.
I always love exploring Idaho, in Wyoming and Montana and all those places.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere that like surrounds Yellowstone, I feel like is a good state.
I agree. Is there any places that you have or want to go back to?
One place we haven't been but want to. We really want to head up and go through Canada. The timing of when we got our van, that hasn't really been a possible thing in the last few years. But we're really looking forward to when we can go through Banff and explore up that area, because that just looks amazing.
Yeah, that's something I really want to do too. I'd love to just take like a month and just drive across Canada and go see everything there is to see.
Yes, yes, it looks incredible. I would also love to see it in the winter, but I haven't sold my husband on that idea of going somewhere even colder than Utah. So
Yeah. Yeah, Arizona sounds more fun than
yeah, yeah. He's like, we can go to Florida or
yeah. That's funny. Well, any other exciting moments or anything else you want to share with the listeners?
not to get on a soapbox, but I guess what I would like to share anytime I have an opportunity to kind of share our story.
Yeah.
The main thing that I love to share is, um, there's kind of this idea in life, like do your travel, do your adventure before you have kids, because then it's over. And I just like to put my plug in that not only is it not over, but it just becomes sweeter. I mean, these
Mhm.
kids have an eye for magic that we overlook. When we see the sun reflecting on the trails, they see fairies, and it adds such an innocence and a beauty to our travels. That's what I like to say, is that adventuring, traveling, all the things that you love are possible, and I would even argue better when you have kids. And so I guess I like to say life's not over. It's just a different adventure beginning.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I mean, yeah, maybe it presents some different challenges, but
Definitely.
I'm sure it's beautiful in a lot of other ways that you might not have thought of compared to like traveling on your own or with just your spouse or something like that as well.
Yes, I find most things that are worth it take a bit more work.
Hmm.
And of course there's some spontaneity that has to go out the window just a bit, because there's a lot of packing to do when you go somewhere. And it definitely more planning and stuff like that, but never impossible. That's anything that you like to do now can always be possible with the kids as well.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and I'm guessing too, it's probably as you've done it more and more, I'm sure it's gotten easier to like know, okay, this is what we need to pack and just kind of have a whole system down for it.
Yes, definitely. We're kind of getting into the groove. I would say the only thing we haven't is feeding them, because they seem to change their minds on what like. So that's an ever moving target. But we're definitely becoming more efficient in what to keep the van stocked with and how to streamline all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'd say with food and kids, that's a tough one there.
It is. I don't know that we'll ever have that figured out, but
Yeah.
as long as they eat something, I feel like it's a win.
Right. That's awesome. Well, Rachel, thank you again for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I feel like, to go off your last point there, I feel like it's really opened to my eyes to not thinking that, my travel days might be behind me once I have a family as well. So I
Oh,
appreciate it.
you're not.
Yeah. Well, really quick, before I forget, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram under Be Bold Little Ones.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I definitely encourage everyone to go check out the page. You have a lot of great content on there, and again, some beautiful places that I never would have heard of had I not looked at your page. So definitely encourage people to go check it out.
Well, thank you so much. And yeah, get over to Utah. We've got some places you need to see.
Oh yeah, so many places in Utah. Um, awesome. Well, thanks again, Rachel, and I hope to see you somewhere around the world soon.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yep. All right. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Hey everybody, Kyle here. If you enjoyed today's show and want more, you can always check out every episode on Spotify and Anchor. And now you can also listen on YouTube. Links are in the description below. If you want to see my travel pictures as well as travel pictures from guests on the show, you can check them out on Instagram. The page is called Our Travel Experiences Podcast. And if you want to share your own pictures on the Instagram page and or be a guest on the podcast, you can message me via that Instagram page or email me at ourtravelexperiences@outlook.com. I would love to see your pictures and hear about your travel experiences. And if that isn't enough for you, make sure to check out my new show, From Around the World Fridays. Every Friday, I'm taking 5 to 10 minutes to discuss one specific travel topic, whether that be questions I get from listeners, sharing some souvenirs that I've bought over the years, or discussing one particular city or country that I've been to, and so much more. You'll be able to listen to that via Spotify and Anchor as well, and be able to see the video version, which I'm really excited about, on YouTube. So check it out. I promise you won't be disappointed. And thanks again for listening, and I will see you around the world soon.